here. Just waiting to see if we are live and nationwide. So how are you doing, Michael?
Doing well tonight. How are you,
There
Travis?
we go. There we go. I think we're coming in.
It's always good to hear the little song pop up. Say
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
you're now
yep.
on this.
Oh yeah, we're up. We're up. We're live. All right, here we go. Here we go. Come back here. W.A.R. All right, Michael, how are you doing, man? It's Wednesday night, Hump Day. Let's do this thing. How are you doing?
Doing good. Just can't believe it's already halfway through the week. Went by a little quick this time.
Oh, I'm telling you, this is March is flying by. Like we're almost halfway through March, spring forward time, the whole 9 yards. It's great. So just want to start off tonight. Before we get going too much faster, here is the link. And you're going to see that we're doing something a little different tonight. We're going to have the chat pop up there in the, your right side of your screen. You can click on that link if you want to, and we'll see about bringing you in to talk with us. So, look, I am joined by Michael Geary, Army veteran and the executive director and founder of Hellfish Haven. My name is Travis. I'm the Marine Corps veteran and host of Oscar Mike Radio. And together, we are WAR.
We are resilient.
We are resilient, which is, I like the acronym. I really do. I think it's really cool. And, we're talking about some good stuff, man. As a lead up, if you don't mind, we talked about nonprofits, but let's talk about, my show tomorrow is with Gail McAuliffe from the Mass Helpline, and you checked it out. I was kind of curious if you start off and kind of tell me what you thought of that as you looked through the Mass Helpline.
When you go to the website, it's just
Oh yeah, hang on a second. Let me get. Tell you what. While we're doing that, I'm gonna get the website up first, my man.
yep.
Mass help. There we go. I'm gonna get like high speed here, Marine Corps style, and paste it in the chat there. There it is. You click right on it, and then I'm gonna do this other thing. I'm gonna try this, Michael. I'm gonna get my YouTube going. It's almost like I know what I'm doing now.
Getting a good swing of it.
Yeah. All right, there's my YouTube link. And oh, I need my Facebook link actually. What I want to do is share, because sharing's caring. Here we go. At 334. Cool. Tomorrow at 8. Awesome. That. Oh man, it's Mikey Saunders, Huggy Bear. Yes, so Mike Saunders calls me Huggy Bear, and Mike Saunders and I hang out quite a bit. He's an Army veteran like yourself, and Mike, thanks for coming by tonight. So let's try this again, Michael. Now that I'm kind of like set up. So if you look there in the chat, tomorrow I'm doing number 334 with Gail McAuliffe. She's an Army veteran, and she and I talked about the Mass Helpline. I have the link to that and a couple of chats down. You can click on that and check it out. And I don't know about you, Michael, but I was like, wow. Our state gets a lot of grief for a lot of things, but they've tried to do this to where, if you need help or a family member needs help, you can get help in some form or fashion. I mean, what do you think about that?
It's true. The mass, and mental health, like they've come a long way from where it was and like how it was set up before for the veterans mass benefits advisor.com to today where it's mass veterans it's complete night and day. Like you have before a website that didn't work very well, a lot of dead links, and now the websites that you click, like for example, the one for the mass behavioral health, like you go there and instantly you're greeted with call or text or chat. Like you right there, you have three different ways that you can communicate with them right off the bat. As soon as you click their page, like it's good to have that because like a lot of pages, you go to contact us and now you're 2 or 3 pages in before you get any information. This one, as soon as you're welcome to the website, here you go. Here's how to call us. Here's how to text us. Here's a way you can chat with us online. And to have those resources available, whether you're not comfortable talking on the phone or whether you can't text for the life of you, and you rather just sit there on the internet and chat with somebody about what you're going through. It's great to have those options available right then and there.
Man, it really is, and it's by websites, by phone number. You can even do it by QR code through your phone. You can get a chat going. It was really something else to see this all come about. We're getting some Twitch traffic in tonight, so that's new for us. But I really like the fact that, at least to me, Michael, for the first time, somebody somewhere listened to us and decided to build something that, I don't know. I mean, one of the things I got asked is, I'm a family member, and I know like my veteran, brother, spouse, whatever, is going through a hard time, and I can't talk to the VA. I can't call his primary care because it's I don't have access to those records. But I want him to get help. I'm like, well, you can call this number, and while they can't make that person get help, they can at least give you some resources and tools and help to try to help them. And that's certainly better than where it has been, like you said, where you're just kind of in a dark hole doing nothing.
Yep. Maybe just pardon me for 1 second. I just gotta let the folks outside the door know that I'm on live.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thank you. Yeah, the greatest thing was being able to see the information for friends and family because you get a lot of people that will come and talk to me and ask, I've got a friend, but they're not ready to help themselves yet. What can we do? And there is a lot of great resources that are out there for that, whether it be, the Mass Helpline, or you've got Military One Source. That's a good resource for family and friends. If you have somebody that you care about that, is a service member or a veteran, and you want to find out ways to help them. Military One Source, you click I am a friend, I am a spouse, and you're able to get in there.
I just want to hear something real quick. I'm trying to make sure our stream sounds good. 1 second. Oh no, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Get back here. So Mike Saunders says he agrees, but he personally feels like the VA relinquishes responsibility because of third-party organizations. That's a very interesting take on that, Michael. What do you think?
I can definitely see how they're more laid back on it, and they do allow the nonprofits to really step up and take command and control almost of the local area, where it seems like almost as if the VA is the federal, and then the nonprofits are the state and the towns. It's almost a way of chain of command. You've got if you're seeking help, you've got the local resources, and then if it goes beyond that, you've got the federal resources. Because I know I watched a thing on HBO years ago about the Veterans Crisis Line and the folks that were answering there, and it was just an office of people. I mean,
That was it.
that was it. It was one office with maybe 5 to 10 people answering a phone.
Well, that's the thing with this mass helpline that I'm finding very interesting is, Gail told me, um, we are talking about mass helpline. It's my understanding that this helpline is staffed 24/7, 365 by, you know, licensed social workers and or people with masters level and some doctors for help. So you're getting people that are you know educated, certified, and they're getting paid for sure, absolutely, but they understand what they're getting into, and it's not just a call center where you're getting routed to a voice box somewhere. I think that's different in a way, but also a very important thing for this program to succeed.
That was one thing that I did have trouble with. Years ago, I saw online that said call us 24/7, see how it works. And before I recommend something to people, I want to go out there and vet and check it out. And I had called the number, and they were only there Monday through Friday, you know, 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And then after that, they rerouted it to another organization's support line, and it wasn't a veteran support line. So it wasn't like when you were calling the veteran support line, you were getting to a different one. And I can understand how that would work, depending on what your situation is. But if you call and you're looking for, veteran support for whatever you're going through, and it's not available, it's really false advertising for you to say 24/7.
Well, I don't think it's the case this time. That was, if you listen to tomorrow night's show right here in Oscar Mike Radio, you'll hear Gail talk about that. Like, they did not want that. They did not want people. They understood that getting people to call was a challenge, and then stay on the line was a challenge, and then talk to the person at the line about what the problem is. The last thing they wanted is for you to call up, regardless if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and get a busy signal, or leave me a message and I'll call you back. And I just, understanding how the program's put together, it seems like there's a lot of thought put into this, but it almost seems like we're going back to a time where, I don't know, Mike, people actually talk to you about what your problem was and then figured out a way to actually help you get over it. It seems like what's old again is new almost.
It does. I know, like, a lot of things have come out. Even the VA tried it with, I think it was called Annie. It was a thing that would text you occasionally. It was like an automated system. It would, check in with you from the VA. And it was good in thought. But if somebody's actually having a crisis or having an issue, they send a message back to Annie, and it could take up to 2 days to get a response back. So it wasn't well thought out in that case, where if somebody is on the urge of something, and what we'd gone through in the training that I went through before said sometimes from the thought to the action can be an hour. So you don't want to be waiting 2 days for a reply from an automated system. You want to be able to talk to somebody in person and be able to get that support and help that you need. And from what I've seen from their line is they will stay with you until you're connected to that help.
That's I didn't do a test on this. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is do a test and take up a resource or open a case or get a big brouhaha going. But looking at how the program was done and what's it about. Um, oh, so this, hey Mike, this is awesome. So Gail McCullough, who I talked to on tomorrow night's show, is in the chat now. Do you got a question for her? This is awesome. She's in.
Yeah, if you can just when people are seeking help, is it help close to them, or is it a regional assistance center, or is it local? Like if I'm in Southern Massachusetts versus the North Shore or Western Mass, is it treatment provided locally, or is it regional?
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to do it in the chat too, just to make sure I don't miss this. This is awesome. Thanks, Gail, for coming on. At Gail, hang on. Mike had questions about help and location. Yeah, folks, we're doing this all live. It's all different, but this is good. If well, she's already. Oh, look at this. She's already responding. Okay, so hang on a second. So she's saying there's several places in each region. So okay. So you're going to see my chat above hers, but so Michael was asking, hey, if I'm on the Cape, am I going to be talking to somebody out in Pittsfield? Is that what you're asking, right?
Yep.
So it sounds like what she's saying. There's several places in each region of Massachusetts. That's cool. So Gail, I went down to the Veterans Kitchen in Fall River today, and they were doing the St. Patrick's Day celebration for veterans down there, World War II veterans. And one of the guys asked me, was there an age limit? So, for instance, could a 98-year-old World War II veteran pick up the phone and talk to somebody and get help, or does it have to be somebody who is his, you know, healthcare proxy or somebody like that? Is there an age limit? How's that work? And we'll see if Gail responds to us. Doug Machedo's checking in. Doug, how are you doing? It's Doug with FUBAR Studios, Veterans Podcast opening up here. So, Gail, I thank you just for coming on real quick and chatting with us. She says no age limit. Thank you very much. So, this is really, really cool, Michael, is this is what we wanted WAR to be, right? Where we share this resource and get more people involved. And Gail, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for checking in on the chat tonight.
It does. It's good to see, that the resources are available and be able to put, a name and a face to a resource and be able to understand what's out there. Because it's one thing to share a link, but like you said, coming back around again, communicating and talking with someone is so much more a help to people than, sharing just a link or contact info. And it does help, and that's where I think that a lot of times, like, what we touch on here, and then we'll go further, and tomorrow on the podcast, like, is just such a good tool for people to have and be able to use.
Well, that's the thing I like, man. It's for people, anybody. So you could be in different types of communities or situations, but it's very clearly for veterans too. And maybe that's what we need is maybe that veteran. Oh, that's a good question right there, Gail. If you're still on, is this open to the widows of veterans? I understand it, Michael, to be yes. It's anybody in the Commonwealth of Mass can utilize Mass Help line. And I'm going to put that link in the chat here right now. But if Gail knows different, if she's still on, she can let you know. Let's see who's pinging me. All right. So that's my understanding, Michael, is that anybody in the Commonwealth can utilize the services. Here. And to your point, Michael, so yeah, they will connect to a provider and stay on the line until a plan is developed. That's cool. So this is great. This is why we're doing this WAR right here. I mean, this is really, really cool. We have, multiple veterans, online talking about this. Multiple veteran shows doing this. We have a veteran nonprofit all involved in this, and then we have Gail, who's a veteran, giving back to us. And so, to answer your question, Mike Saunders, Gail says yes. Widows, anyone in the Commonwealth. Hey, Michael. Can you tell me the difference between a Commonwealth and a state?
All I know is that there's a bunch of them. And I was Virginia's one. Virginia, Pennsylvania.
I don't know, and I didn't look it up, but I don't. There's a difference, though. So if someone can tell us what the difference is between a Commonwealth and a state, We could Google it, but come on, you're out there in the chat. Let us know.
Someone definitely knows out there.
Someone a lot smarter than us, man. I mean, I'm telling you. So I just thought that was funny because we talked throughout the show. Commonwealth can change laws for any reason. Okay. See, Mikey's smart and a talented musician too. So I just love the fact that this thing has launched, Michael. And I don't know how about you, but I look at it as we got another tool. Like we could put this on our websites as one of those supporting entities that people can look at our websites and say, "Hey, I can get right there and call them up and get help." And so I really like the work that Gail's doing in this case, and it's got to be good for you because you're constantly looking for ways to get people the help where they are.
I do, and one of the things that I was going to touch base tonight about was the for TAPS, the tragedy assistance programs for survivors. I got their magazine recently, and they literally have a whole 2-page pullout of different resources that are available for people. Whether it's the survivor helpline, peer-based emotional support, caseworker assistance, educational support, community-based grief, survivor care, suicide loss. They've got a lot of programs, and I will be posting that up on the Hellfish Haven resources and the Hellfish Haven social media platforms later this evening. But that's TAPS is a great organization. TAPS.orgs, and you go / programs hyphen services. That'll show you everything that they have available.
And Mike, she's saying this program has had 4,000 plus calls already.
Wow.
That's something else. I think, I can't remember, I don't have my notes right here in front of me, Mike. I want to say they launched in January of this year. So let's just say they did. I could be wrong. I couldn't be 100% accurate. But let's just take 60 days, for example. 60 divided by, it goes into 4, that's like 250 calls a day. January 3rd. So 250 calls a day, give or take a few. That's like 10 an hour, give or take, 10, 15 an hour.
It really does show you the need that's out there.
Also, hey man, Mike Saunders, he works for the VS. You're a VSO in Saugus. He's asking you to email these websites to us. So I'm going to grab his email and
Mike, I'll do you one better. I'll come and see you. I live in Saugus.
Dude, Mikey, this is what war is about. Right, Mike? This is what we wanted to happen.
Absolutely.
It's happening, man. This is a freaking awesome night. We got Mike Saunders, a VSO on. We got, Oscar Mike radio guest on who's given, really good info and intel. Doug Machado checks in and other people checking in.
We'll do.
This is what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So wait a minute. So she's saying our ad campaign doesn't start until April. So no ad campaign, just word of mouth. Mikey, that's amazing. There's been no promotion for this, and they've already gotten over 4,000 calls. That's pretty awesome.
It also shows the need for a program such as this to be out there to have these helplines, because there is a behavioral health and mental health crisis going on out there, and people need a resource to be able to connect to. And it's definitely great that Massachusetts has stood up their own, and not just relying on federal organizations or a call center regionalized to be able to take care of things. That they're actually taking care of stuff right here in the Commonwealth.
It's not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing at all. And I get the jokes about Massachusetts all the time, but I'm like, I don't know any other state that has something where you can call up and I don't know. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I've had a bad day at work. I'm going through a divorce. I lost my job, and I just need somebody to talk to. And you can have somebody to talk to. On one hand, let me ask you this. On one hand, I feel like, geez, it's pretty sad we're at this point, and we got to have the state step in and do something like this. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is like, well, you know what? They get grief about the T, they get grief about the big dig, they get grief about other things, the RMV. This is one thing they got right. Let's pat them on the back and support them.
Definitely too, and the creation of the veterans services, even that changing from the Department of Veteran Services to being mass vets, like creating that, and like they're creating boards and advisories, and having a secretary of mass veterans that's out there now in the government higher up than before. Now our voice is really being amplified too, and it's definitely been great to see.
So this is a good thing. I'm glad you brought this up. Explain to me how it changed. It used to be the Massachusetts Department of Veteran Services, and it changed. What was the significance of that?
Basically, how we were represented, we would have, as far as the government goes, there would be, we would be, down 4 or 5 tiers from the governor's office down. And now there's a person that reports directly to the governor talking about what's going on in Massachusetts with veterans and our programs, and being able to push and get more funding. Yes, cabinet level.
So you're right, and Gail's right. So these are right next to the governor. We're not on some committee somewhere. This is all good. This is all good. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear Gail in the person talk with me. We were at the Tewksbury Public Library. I want to thank Tewksbury Public Library for allowing me to set up in there and do that. It was a very cool conversation. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Oscar Mike Radio. Anything else with Mass Helpline, man? I'm just glad it's there. I've got
What, uh,
the. I'm
what
glad
Gail
it's there.
talked about there was post pension being talked about.
Yeah.
And post pension is when somebody does commit suicide and the act has occurred, and what to do next for the family, the friends, the loved ones. And how do they get on? What do they do now that that person that they loved is gone? And there is a lot of programs coming up with ways to help the family after it happens, and that's a huge difference too. Is before the act happens, and now the service member's gone, and you don't really have a connection to the veteran world or anything like that. Now you do still have that. You do still have the ways to heal together, and like to build these communities and build these groups that of survivors of suicide and the impact it has on those that you love. And it's definitely great to see how much emphasis has been put on the postvention, because there's a lot that goes into prevention, but after it happens, there also is a lot that happens mentally and behaviorally.
We don't think about that enough, but you do bring up something. How does that member cope and move forward after this happens? All the fallout, with the state probate issues, insurance, all that stuff. And I don't think it's talked about enough. And Mike saying we lost another one to suicide yesterday. I believe I know who you're talking about, Mike, and just out of the clear blue. You know, so I'm glad this resource is there. How could we put more attention on postvention, Michael?
Just sharing the resources. I know there's a bunch of on the different on the VA's website. They've got a whole bunch of different visions, and like the one out in Colorado, they focus a lot on postvention, and they're the ones that talk with the care providers that have worked with the veterans and things like that. Uh, so it's good to reach out, even if you're somebody that's taking care of veterans, or you think you have a concept of what's going on, but even that does take a toll on you. Dealing with everything that comes at you as a provider. So we want to make sure the providers are also taken care of too. They're losing not just a patient, but somebody that they've spent a lot of time working one on one with.
Gail says Riverside Trauma Center has a good crisis intervention team. I just don't know a whole lot about how all this works in terms of how you what are the steps when someone says, hey, they're suicidal. Taking some classes, but I'm not really. It's not like a full-time thing I do. But have you ever dealt with a crisis intervention team, Mike?
I haven't dealt with an intervention team, but I have done the gatekeeper training
Okay.
for QPR, and I'm trained to teach that class. And it's a lot of it is question, persuade, repair, and is you straight up ask the person are you thinking about taking your own life, and you're not setting it up like, do you think you're gonna take your life, or do you not think you're gonna do it? Like, you don't want to give them like the answer like for them. You want to make sure that they're giving the answer to you, and then after that you want to make sure that you get them somewhere out of the environment like we talked about before in the first episode, and then refer them to the proper resource that will be able to further engage them. And that's where I think maybe those teams would come in. In fact, was once you've got the person and you have moved them out of their environment and started to get them rethinking their headspace, is reaching out to a crisis team. Is would that be something that they're used for, Gail?
That is not me, but okay, no
That's
problem.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm really grateful. We do have Gail on here chatting with us. This is really helpful. Um, so I just appreciate you coming on. So she said, when she says we, maybe she means Mass Helpline. Oh, like grief counseling support. Got you. Got you. Yeah, you're working on your podcast, Doug. Can't wait to hear it. So I know you've been putting a lot of hours on that. Good stuff. Um, Time flies when we're having fun. I just think this tonight's like we've seen like some momentum get going, but this is like one of the first times where people we know have come in and told us what they're doing and asked questions. We've had a guest I have come in and offer perspective even before the show drops, and you know we've got your perspective as running Hellfish Haven. This is working, man. This is working. What do you think about that?
It's great. I mean, that too is a lot what they're trying to do now with everything, and they are creating these the community based resources, and like when they're putting together these different healthcare centers out there, that's what they're looking at too. Is they don't want to just be you know for suicide. They don't want to just be for substance abuse. They want to be cover it all. They want to have coaches out there. They want to have peer support. They want to have peer support is such a underused service and can do so much for someone when you sit down with someone that's been in your shoes and gone through what you've gone through, and can look you in the face and say I got out of this, so can you. And
People can walk in as well. This is cool. I mean, it's cool that it's out there. Again, I'm kind of like, it's sad these services are needed, but at least they're here now, man. I mean, because I thought about it, years ago, I had nothing to tell people. I didn't know what to tell them, where to go, what to do, anything like that.
and as you
So
saw too on the line that deaf or hard of hearing, you can also do the mass relay at 711. I mean, that's huge as well to be able to have this resource to reach people, not just not just hearing folks, but people that can't hear as well.
we're halfway through March 8th. St. Patty's Day is coming soon. Um, what's up for Hellfish Haven this week or this month, Mike?
We're just looking at continuing to grow the connections. Last week, uh, we were invited with Veterans Upward Bound to go to the Boston Space Center, and it was a for all the moon travel, the rockets. You walk around a tour. They have actual things, the meals, everything like that. And Veterans Upward Bound does this their program where if you want to go back to school, and like me, I was out 10 years before I went from my associate's degree to start working on the bachelor's degree again. So I was, they do not just classes anymore, but they also do these, outside resources to be able to go and, touch base with, the veterans that are in the program and bring them to the Museum of Science or bring them to the, like this one in Chelsea. And you actually be able to see and learn, by going through these exhibits and doing that as well. On top of, education in a classroom, it's very important, to get out, actually see, put your hands on, and, you understand better that way.
So Mike's checking on the chat. Doug says he agrees that peer support is a great thing for vets to talk to vets. Mike is saying, as a VSO, it infuriates him that he has to do a mountain of paper, send up the chain, then it takes months for a decision. I didn't realize until I'm starting to go through my own thing just how long you can wait to get something back from somebody, and that's if there's no mistakes or clarifications needed. It's crazy.
It is too, and like you said, it's almost like the RMV, if you don't have, the name spelled correctly or that, it gets kicked back and you have to do the paperwork all over again. The bureaucracy is definitely tough.
So I got Anthony Harris checking in, Mike, saying a great conversation, guys. Thank you. We'll link you up with Mike. So I don't know who Anthony is. Thanks for checking in.
He was a military police soldier with me in Baghdad, 2007, 2008. He's in my platoon there, and he is a VA officer at the Bedford. I don't know the full name of it. I just know it's the Bedford VA.
Yeah.
I think it's Edith Reed Rogers Memorial.
Okay.
But yeah, he's an officer there. So if you ever see an Officer Harris, he's one to be friendly and to chat with and to know what's going on the campus there.
Gotta love warrant officers. Absolutely. So.
And then just the different VSOs. Like I feel for you guys in the towns and the communities. Like some towns are fully backing their VSO and ensure they have the tools that they need, and others, like in Foxborough, before everything changed, the VSO was an old World War II vet. He would be on the books for maybe 4 hours a week, and of that 4 hours, he would spend 3 at Dunkin' Donuts. And like, if you couldn't find him in his office, you had to find him at Dunks, and like, if you didn't find either of those, you couldn't get the support you needed. And the heart was in the right place, but the towns, if they're not fully funding these programs and giving them the tools they need to succeed, it's tough.
That was one of the things. I go down to the Veterans Kitchen in Fall River, right, and I see that the city of Fall River, the mayor, sponsored the entire St. Patty's Day lunch for the veterans. A lot of them World War II veterans. Fall River has a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them down there in that area, and it was really something to see the mayor come in, shake the veterans' hands, talk to Don Trehan, and say hello to Councilwoman Laura Pereira about what was going on down there, and do that. I mean, when you have the city support, that has to make a VSO's job easier.
Yeah. And Mike just added, Allie's awesome. Allie Rodriguez is the Foxborough VSO now. And remember when they were having the stuff up at the stadium where they were helping veterans out there food insecure during COVID? They could go and they could get a box of supplies. You just drive up, open your trunk, and they would put it in, and you would be able to sign for it and get some fresh food, some pantry items. and just be all boxed up, ready to go. And she was out there, the front of that, packing up cars, making sure that the men and women veterans out there were able to get these food items while COVID first kicked off and everything was down.
Allie is coming on Oscar Mike Radio. I talked to her earlier this month, and it was really, really cool getting her perspective about, being a VSO and what that meant to what that meant to her as a veteran. So she's coming up here. I want to say soon. Hang on a second. I'll tell you exactly when. I got connected to her through Adam Gunn. So thank you, Adam. And let's see here. Wow, we are out to June. No, she's not in May. She's in April. April 13th. You'll be able to hear our conversation. So, yeah, Mike. Allie was awesome. She was great to talk with. So, I was at the Veterans Kitchen today in Fall River. If you ever in the Fall River area, go check them out. They really do some good work for um, veterans in that area, and they're part of the Fall River War Veterans Council. So it's not just all veterans. It's some civilians and other town leaders making sure that Fall River veterans are taken care of. And they got a great new VSO in Michelle Hamilton, who is the incoming VSO for Fall River. So just some good stuff going on down there.
Mike, we'll stop by. We'll see you tomorrow.
Are you going to see him tomorrow?
Yep, he said stop by anytime after 11.
Hey, have you ever heard Mike play the guitar, Michael?
I'm not.
We ought to get him. Maybe I'll tell you what I'll do, Michael. I got to get him on Oscar Mike Radio and have him shred for us, because that man is talented. And I think more people need to hear just how talented he is, because he can flat get it on with guitar. I mean, I bet he could hang with Satriani no problem.
It
So
always impresses me when people can play an instrument, because I just have no musical talent at all. Like, I was in a karaoke band, and like that was just if we sang badly, it was just accepted.
so Doug Machado says he gave Mike Saunders a hat and a shirt. I'm sure it's a Fubar Studios hat and a shirt. And, well, I'm Huggy Bear Mikey, so I just love you, man. Love is there. I just love what's going on tonight, man. I mean, I'm gonna circle this one, Michael. We're getting some momentum now. Like I said before, we're getting some momentum, and it's just fantastic to see.
Absolutely, it's always good to see like what we wanted, and like to see it actually occurring. Like, it's different than like what you see when like it was pitched. Like, when we talked about like what was we gonna do, and like to see it happen is really neat.
Well, we did the first one or two, and we were just trying to figure out all the little technical things, and what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. But I'm circling this day. This one's gonna stick with me, and I think it's just because you have everybody come together to share and just have a place to talk. There's no like agenda or anything. We're just like, I don't know, human beings for a change. It's great.
And to be able to know that these resources are out there too for anybody else that's watching, or if they watch later on in the week too. Like, I know folks come in, they check in afterwards, and rewatch this broadcast. Any of those resources that you guys need more info on, or if you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to hit us up during the week too. Like, we're not just here on Wednesdays. We're here all the time. Through social media or through emails or websites. If you go to hellfishhaven.org, you'll see our contact information, our resources that we have available, and what we can do in the future. With working with other organizations and being able to help you with your mission as well.
I think that's the thing that I'm getting out of as I'm doing this more and more with you, man, is that we're not alone. You don't have to be alone. And I just placed the link to the Hellfish Haven resources page in the chat, and you realize that Michael's not kidding. He has a wealth of resources right there that you can either contact him about, or go there yourself and look them up. You've got this mass helpline as a starting point. You've got a veteran helping launch this stuff, and this it's all here, so you don't have to suffer alone, man. No one does.
Like I said, whether you be on it live chatting with us or somebody's just lurking and watching, you know definitely reach out whenever you need it because we're here for you. We're here for everybody. Not just the people that are here live with us, but the people that watch us later on in the week. Definitely appreciate all the support people send out.
Isn't that something like you'll I was at the Rolling Thunder event the last week in their Mardi Gras event, and someone had watched this show and started talking to me about it. They never came on the chat. I didn't know that they were in the stream with us. Like, you can kind of see that, but you're right. They watched it afterwards and had some questions. I'm like, that's that's cool. I mean, that's what we want to happen. And so to Michael's point, you can watch this, go back and check out these links, ask people questions. Like, maybe you're in Saugus and somebody just came home, or somebody needs some veterans help. Michael is going to be on it to help you out. It's the best.
I mean, it's always good to be able to connect, names to faces, and to be able to have these resources to interconnect because it really does make the impact of everybody can have that much more when you collaborate with other organizations. And like it is tough. Like we mentioned, that the nonprofit world it can be very cutthroat at times, but you just want to be out there and you want to be making sure that you're taking care of your other organizations that have a similar mission as you, and that you get the maximum help out to the community that you can. Whether it be me, whether it be through other organizations, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to take credit for it. I'm here to ensure that it's out there.
So you still like doing Hellfish Haven after all this time?
I do, and I love it. Whether it be giving somebody a class on computer literacy, or going over guys the different stuff that they need for to file a claim, or helping them file an appeal. Everything that I've learned over the years, anytime there was a class available to learn more stuff, I try to take. I go on Eventbrite, and sometimes I just search veteran and see what classes are available out there and what I can sign up for. And like they have different training, whether it's the SAVE training, or it's a VA funded program, or if it's just another nonprofit program. Like that's how I got help with Hellfish Haven, was the Small Business Association. Like I learned different programs through them, and then I got in touch with the Veterans Business Owners Association, which is run by a social worker right here in Mass, and Jerry Pinsky, and it's an 18-course module that you go through from launching a business to creating it in your mind, what you want it to be, what you want to focus on, marketing, having the at the bottom line, what is your mission here, what is your product. That was the first thing you talked about when before we had a space. What was the minimum viable product that Hellfish had? And we had the assistance and the advocacy, and so we wanted to really lean hard on those before we had a place to hang our hat. And that's what we want folks to know, is that even if you don't have a place, you can still do stuff for other people, and you can still help and enable the community.
I think you brought something well there. Maybe you're just starting out and you want to start your nonprofit, or maybe you're just starting out and you want to help. There's You'll learn a lot if you find an authentic, good nonprofit that you can help out. It can be everything from just setting up an event, or doing a social media blast, or sitting in on a committee meeting to understand how budget's going to go. You can learn from all that, provide value to that organization, and then if you want to start your own in a different way, you've got that wealth of experience plus some mentorship to help you out. I mean, it's you don't have to start up alone, and you don't have to be alone if you don't want to be. And I think you're right, Mike. It's good sometimes to, you know, learn from people that are doing it before you strike out on your own to keep those challenges from becoming insurmountable.
Yeah, and if you can just share that, the link right there for the the VBOA. That's such a valuable tool. And they had they used to meet in these cohorts, whether it was Worcester, Boston, but now with everything went virtual, they've got veterans coming in from Chicago. They've got veterans coming in from all over to be able to take this 18 module course. It's given free of charge. You just meet weekly and you go to this class and you learn from people that have already done it, and from people that have started businesses on their own, for profit and nonprofit. And you're in there with 5 or 6 other veterans at the same time that are going through the same process that you are. And like it's just really interesting to grow your network that way, and also see the challenges that you're having, other people may be having, or others may help you with your challenge, and you can help them with theirs.
And I'm just trying to do 4 things at one time. I can do 2 things at one time, I think. I
Me
got two
too.
things down. Three's a stretch. Four, I'm done. So, no, not trying to be rude there. I'm really hopeful tonight, man. I don't know about you, Michael. I'm just seeing, this come together. I'm seeing other people trying to do their own thing. I'm seeing the people reach across, different lines to help each other out. And this mass helpline, even our government's getting involved and trying to do this. And it might be because, you know what, maybe this is a weird idea, but it's less expensive to help somebody and, get them better and back in society as a good citizen than bury them and deal with the fallout from that. I'm not really worried about why they did it. I'm just glad it's there. And then I look at your resource page you have for Hellfish Haven, and I realize that you've gone through and talked to all these orgs, and you've thought, you know what, these are good orgs that can, you don't have to worry about whether or not they're misspending your money or not helping you out, and you've lived this yourself. So I don't know, man. I'm really encouraged tonight.
I mean, too, like the biggest thing too is if you can put your pride aside, people are willing to help. Like go in with an open mind to all these different organizations and these different programs, and when you do call somebody and ask for help, and you do call seeking assistance, don't do it with your walls up. You gotta knock those walls down and let people in to help you, because if you're not letting them in to help you, you're not getting the true value out of it.
I just like telling these stories. This is what I do with Oscar Mike Radio, and seeing these connections come to life, seeing people, really, uh, embrace what they can do and their can-do attitude. And I dropped the link there in the chat as well. If you have a story to tell, I'm interested in learning about what you're doing and how you can help other veterans and what your story is to help yourself. This is all great. This is all great. So my promise to you, Mike, is I'm gonna get with Bill Moore from Project New Hope and see if we can get him on next week.
Sounds good. We also have Nick. He runs Veterans Upward Bound from Suffolk. He said
No
he'd
kidding.
be on for a few minutes with us next week.
All right, let's do it. We'll get him on first and see about having Bill on around 7:30.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. All right. So, I mean, watching this all on, and first of all, do you like the chat on the side there that you can watch the chat go in, or do you want it like classic style?
I like it this way. I think it's good to be able to see it, right there, and to refer back to it if we miss something. Because sometimes the other one, when it shows up at the bottom, and it's like you catch it, or like sometimes when I'm talking, I'm focused on what I'm saying, and I
I
kind of
like,
miss that.
yeah, I like it too. It kind of like you can see it right there, and you're right. I can like, okay, this person's asking a question, I can make sure the question's being asked. So I like this view. I think that's what we're going to go with. I just I don't know. I'm circling March 8th, man. March 8th was a major turning point for me. So I'm glad I'm on this thing with you. I'm glad we're doing this.
I appreciate it. It's just seeing things come to fruition is definitely it, it makes you feel like you're doing the right thing, like when it's actually working.
Absolutely. I want to thank Gail for joining us tonight to answer some questions. I really appreciate that. And she is Oscar Mike. She is. I mean, she'll be in Springfield one day, Boston the next day, then down in Bourne the next day. I don't know how she does it, but you'll get more of that story tomorrow. Mike Saunders, thanks for checking in, giving us that VSO's opinion, and Doug, all the best in launching your podcast and your veteran show. So just good things, and we're here with you. Any closing remarks, Mike?
No, just then keep up the fight. You guys, everyone knows that they're it's said too many times that you're not alone, but we'll keep saying it until it sinks in with everyone that you are not alone. We're out here. We're making sure that F the stigma, I believe, was the go to for us for the last broadcast, and
F the
we want
stigma.
to make sure that people know that that it's we're tired of people telling other people that seeking mental health is wrong, or that you're weak for doing such a thing, and it's like you're not. It takes a lot to to open yourself up and to open the other people into your world. So if you're able to do that and you're willing to make the steps to help yourself, there are folks like me, folks like Gail out there that are willing to take you in, and folks like Travis that are out there to tell your story. So
Awesome. I mean, we're stronger together. We are a powerful group of people, us veterans, and we thank the people who support us. You might not have ever served, but if you're out there supporting us, with making your company, veteran friendly for jobs, and or helping us out with F the stigma. All right, Gail. I tell you what, Michael, we'll draft like an Oscar Mike Radio Hellfish Haven F the stigma sticker, and we'll get one to you first. Deal, Mikey?
sounds good to me.
We'll make that happen for you, Gail. Make that happen for you, Gail. But those civilians that support us too, we need you all on board to understand what we're going through and what we can offer you in terms of value to your company, your organization, and the community in general. So it's a total team effort. No one fights alone. No one fights alone. She's saying yes, do it. We'll get it done. We will get it done. Let's do it. So I've got nothing else to say tonight. We're going to try to get some other guests on for next week, and the chat will be open. You can jump in, and we love this. So if there's nothing else, we'll sign off. Anything else, Mike?
No, just to thank you everybody for tuning in, checking in on us, and sharing what you can, and continuing to watch us week after week.
Likewise. We'll see you next week. Take care. Hump day's over. Have a good night, and yeah, F the stigma.